The story begins with a group of friends gathering at a lodge. There's a sense of excitement and camaraderie as they reunite. However, beneath the surface, tensions and complex relationships are hinted at, particularly surrounding the characters Mike and Hannah. The group seems to be planning something, possibly a prank, which creates an undercurrent of unease. The prank unfolds, targeting Hannah. She's lured to a room under false pretenses, believing she's meeting Mike for a romantic encounter. The situation quickly escalates as Hannah, feeling humiliated, flees into the snowy night. The mood shifts dramatically from playful teasing to genuine concern as the group realizes the prank has gone too far. There's a palpable sense of guilt and worry as they debate whether to go after her. The search for Hannah intensifies as her sister Beth joins in. The harsh winter environment adds to the urgency and danger of the situation. As they venture deeper into the forest, calling out for Hannah, the atmosphere becomes increasingly ominous. The scene builds tension, suggesting that something terrible may happen to the sisters. The narrative shifts to a therapy session, introducing a mysterious therapist figure. This character emphasizes the importance of choices and their consequences, setting up a key theme for the story. The therapist guides the unseen patient through a psychological exercise involving picture cards, probing into their fears and comfort levels. This segment adds a layer of psychological depth to the narrative. A radio broadcast reveals that it's been 1 year since the disappearance of Hannah and Beth Washington on Mount Washington. The incident is shrouded in mystery, with hints of foul play and supernatural elements. The mountain's history of tragedy is mentioned, adding to the ominous atmosphere. This segment provides crucial backstory and sets the stage for the main events of the story. Josh Washington, brother of the missing girls, addresses his friends via video message. He invites them back to the mountain for their annual winter getaway, acknowledging the emotional weight of returning after the previous year's events. Josh's demeanor is a mix of enthusiasm and underlying sadness as he expresses his desire to honor his sister's memory by bringing the group together again. The story moves to the present, with characters arriving at the mountain. The atmosphere is a blend of excitement and apprehension. Various character interactions are shown, revealing the complex web of relationships within the group. There's a sense of unease as they reacquaint themselves with the mountain environment, which now holds painful memories. Two characters, Chris and Sam, explore the area near the lodge. They discover a shooting range, which seems out of place and adds to the unsettling atmosphere. This segment showcases the characters' personalities and their attempts to find normalcy and fun despite the circumstances. The presence of the shooting range hints at potential dangers to come. As more characters arrive, the group dynamics become more complex. There are moments of tension, flirtation, and attempts at lighthearted banter. The cable car ride up the mountain serves as a metaphorical ascent into the main conflict of the story. Characters express mixed feelings about returning, revealing their individual ways of coping with the previous year's trauma. There's an awkward encounter between Michael, Emily, and Matt, hinting at past relationships and current tensions. The characters try to navigate these social complications while maintaining a facade of normalcy. As they settle in, there's a sense that the weekend ahead will be emotionally charged and potentially dangerous, setting the stage for the main events of the story to unfold. The scene begins with a character needing to urgently find Sam before continuing their journey upwards. Despite being close to their destination, the character insists on the importance of speaking with Sam. Their companion reluctantly agrees to continue alone, asking the character to be careful and meet them later. An unexpected encounter occurs between two characters, Ash and another person. The latter apologizes for startling Ash, explaining it was unintentional. They engage in a brief conversation about a viewing device, with one character offering it to the other. The scene shifts to a tense moment involving Emily, causing frustration in another character named Matt. A playful, flirtatious exchange takes place between two characters, with one jokingly surrendering to the other in a mock military scenario. The tone is lighthearted and suggestive. A lively game of hide-and-seek, or tag, unfolds between two characters, Mike and Jessica. The interaction is playful and competitive, with both participants enjoying the chase and eventual capture. Mike and Jessica continue their playful banter, acknowledging Jessica as the snowball queen. They discuss staying outdoors longer, with Mike suggesting intimate activities. Jessica humorously points out the risk of freezing. The conversation hints at their mutual attraction and the potential for a romantic encounter. The scene transitions to what appears to be a therapy or counseling session. The therapist introduces an exercise involving a book with pictures and symbols, asking the patient to identify images that provoke anxiety. The therapist encourages the patient to rely on instincts for more honest and enlightening answers. The therapy session concludes with the therapist promising future meetings. The scene then shifts to characters climbing a mountain, discussing its perceived size and the need for better cell reception. There's a humorous exchange about the cost of installing cell towers. A group reunites at their destination. They discuss recent relationship developments, particularly noting that Matt and Emily are now a couple. There's speculation about Mike's reaction to this news, implying he may be involved with someone else. The group encounters a locked entrance and debates how to get inside. Various conversations occur between characters. Chris and Ash have a brief, slightly flirtatious exchange. Matt discusses his uncertain relationship with Emily. Another character encourages Chris to pursue a romantic relationship with Ash, describing the setting as ideal for such developments. The group continues to strategize about entering the locked lodge. One character mentions low phone battery. Another character has an idea involving deodorant and a lighter to create a makeshift flamethrower to melt the frozen lock. They split up to gather necessary items. While searching in the dark, a character discovers an answering machine message. The message, from Sergeant Tate to Mrs. Washington, delivers bad news about a case, mentioning that they cannot legally restrict someone's movements. Tensions rise within the group as relationship dynamics come to the forefront. There's a confrontation between Jessica and Emily, with accusations of jealousy and insults exchanged. The situation escalates until others intervene, suggesting a break. Mike and Jessica decide to visit a separate cabin for some privacy. Emily realizes she's missing her bag and believes she left it at the cable car station. She and Matt prepare to go retrieve it. Meanwhile, Mike and Jessica begin their journey to the guest cabin, with flirtatious banter and anticipation of romantic time alone. Mike and Jessica continue their walk to the cabin, engaging in playful conversation and taking photos together. They discuss Emily briefly, with Jessica expressing strong dislike. Mike attempts to moderate Jessica's hostility, preferring to focus on their time together. The scene ends with them successfully powering up a generator, allowing them to proceed to the cabin. The group is exploring an area marked by police tape, remnants of an unresolved investigation involving Hannah and Beth. The atmosphere is tense as they recall a prank gone wrong, which may have led to the girls' disappearance. Despite the eerie setting, they decide to press on, determined to reach their destination despite obstacles in their path. The group encounters a precarious situation when Jessica falls into a lower area. Mike goes to her rescue, and they work together to move a cart blocking their way. The experience, while nerve-wracking, brings a moment of levity as they joke about their predicament. As they continue their journey, they note the dilapidated state of their surroundings, questioning the safety of the structures. Upon reaching their destination, the group is pleasantly surprised by the cabin's appearance. Their mood lightens as they playfully discuss their expectations for the stay. A moment of tension arises when someone claims to see a figure at the cabin, but it's quickly dismissed as a trick of the imagination. The journey continues with a mix of excitement and apprehension. The group faces more obstacles on their path, including a blocked route that requires some physical effort to clear. Their perseverance is tested, but they manage to overcome the challenges with a combination of strength and ingenuity. The interaction between the characters reveals a mix of frustration and determination as they navigate the difficult terrain. A poignant moment occurs as Josh expresses gratitude to Sam for everyone's support. The conversation hints at past traumas and the group's collective effort to move forward. As they descend into the basement to address the hot water issue, the atmosphere becomes tense, with creepy noises and dark surroundings adding to the unease. In the basement, Sam and Josh encounter strange noises, leading to a moment of panic. However, it's revealed to be a prank by Josh, much to Sam's annoyance. The incident, while meant to be humorous, adds to the overall sense of unease permeating the lodge. Their interaction highlights the complex dynamics within the group, mixing humor with underlying tension. The focus shifts to other members of the group as they prepare for the evening. Emily and Matt have a tense conversation about their relationship dynamics, hinting at underlying issues. Meanwhile, others continue to explore the lodge, discovering various items and planning their activities for the night. The diverse interactions showcase the different relationships and tensions within the group. Matt and Emily's storyline continues as they venture outside, their flirtatious banter interrupted by unsettling discoveries in the surrounding area. They find a mysteriously placed snowman with a note, adding to the growing sense that something is amiss. Their lighthearted mood quickly shifts to concern as they decide to return to safety. The narrative is interspersed with a psychological evaluation, exploring themes of fear, isolation, and personal values. This segment provides insight into the characters' psyches and hints at deeper implications for their actions and decisions. The evaluation touches on topics such as loyalty, honesty, and personal integrity, adding a layer of psychological depth to the unfolding events. The group reconvenes to use the spirit board, following specific instructions to communicate with the spirit world. Despite initial skepticism, strange occurrences during the session leave them unsettled. The board seems to spell out messages related to Hannah and Beth, suggesting betrayal and murder. This revelation deeply affects the group, especially Josh, as they grapple with the implications of this supernatural communication. A group of friends are using a spirit board, which causes tension. One of them, Josh, becomes upset and leaves. The others debate whether to go after him or give him space. The pointer mysteriously flew off the table during the seance, leaving some wondering if it was faked. Despite the strange occurrence, they decide to follow the spirit board's instructions to look in the library. Jessica and her friend are in the woods. The friend jumps out and scares Jessica, recording her reaction on video. Jessica is upset and demands the video be deleted, but her friend finds her scared reaction cute. They playfully argue about deleting the video and discuss the nature of truly knowing someone. Michael and Emily discover a heart carving on a tree with the initials M and E. They debate who might have carved it, with Michael denying responsibility. The conversation reveals their relationship dynamics and how well they know each other. The scene shifts to a winter setting, creating a contrast with the earlier woods scene. Characters hear strange noises in the woods, debating whether it's a scream or just an animal. The atmosphere becomes tense and eerie. The scene then transitions to a cabin, which one character describes as matching expectations, suggesting they had planned this trip. A playful scene unfolds where one character gets revenge by soaking another, likely for the earlier scare in the woods. They flirtatiously argue about fairness and warming up, hinting at romantic tension between them. The dialogue suggests they are entering a cabin, possibly for a getaway. The characters encounter a severely injured animal, possibly due to a trap. They debate whether to end its suffering. Suddenly, they're forced to run from an unseen threat, crossing a bridge to safety. The intense chase creates a sense of danger and urgency in their previously relaxed outing. After escaping the threat, possibly a bear, the characters take refuge in a cabin. They discuss the likelihood of animals opening doors, mixing humor with tension relief. The cabin is not as cozy as expected, leading to a discussion about creating a romantic atmosphere with a fire and proper lighting. The romantic mood is disrupted when one character loses their phone. They debate going outside to look for it, considering the potential danger. The atmosphere shifts as they try to rekindle the mood, revealing insecurities and attempting to build intimacy. The scene showcases the complex dynamics of their relationship. A phone mysteriously appears, thrown through the window, interrupting the intimate moment. This leads to anger and frustration, believing friends are pranking them. The character reacts defiantly, shouting about their intentions to have sex. This outburst reveals underlying tensions and the desire for privacy. The scene shifts to characters discussing a seance and its effects on Josh, who seemed disturbed. They debate whether mentioning his sisters was appropriate. The conversation is interrupted by the discovery of a hidden button behind some books, revealing a secret passage. This unexpected find adds an element of mystery to the setting. Characters discover a threatening letter, possibly related to Hannah and Beth. This find, combined with earlier observations of a wanted poster and an ominous answering machine message, suggests a dangerous individual might be on the mountain. The revelation creates a sense of urgency to find and warn Josh. A psychological exercise is introduced where someone is asked to choose between pairs of people they know, focusing on who they dislike most. The narrator suggests that overconfidence often masks a lack of confidence. This interlude adds a psychological thriller element to the unfolding events. The narrative abruptly shifts to a frantic search for Jessica. The tone becomes urgent and fearful as characters call out for her, suggesting she might be in danger. The sudden change in pace and atmosphere indicates a critical turn of events in the story. The search for Jessica continues with increasing desperation. There are indications of a confrontation or chase, with characters trying to reach safety. The fragmented narrative style reflects the chaos and urgency of the situation, leaving the exact nature of the threat unclear but imminent. The scene changes to a search for Ashley, mirroring the earlier search for Jessica. The environment is described as unfamiliar and threatening. The repeated pattern of searching for missing characters heightens the sense of danger and unpredictability in the story. A sinister voice introduces a deadly experiment involving Joshua and Ashley, with Christopher forced to make a life-or-death decision between them. A tense scene unfolds as characters discover someone injured or dead. There's panic and confusion as they try to understand what happened, mentioning a maniac and a deadly incident involving a saw. The characters are clearly shaken and struggling to process the violent events. They debate whether to seek help or look for other missing friends, ultimately deciding they need to gather everyone together and get assistance. A mysterious figure addresses the audience, questioning the nature of the unfolding events and the player's role. They imply the situation is some kind of game or self-indulgence, hinting at deeper psychological aspects. The figure casts doubt on the player's perception of reality and their ability to distinguish what's real, adding an unsettling layer to the already tense atmosphere. Tension escalates as a character encounters immediate danger, possibly being pursued or trapped. There's a frantic atmosphere as they try to escape or hide. The scene is punctuated by repetitive exclamations of fear and distress, indicating a high-stress situation with potential threats closing in. A character interacts with an animal, possibly a wolf or dog. They attempt to calm and befriend the creature, offering food and speaking soothingly. This moment of relative calm contrasts with the surrounding tension, though there's still an undercurrent of wariness and potential danger. Characters discuss the apparent death of Josh, grappling with disbelief and the graphic nature of the incident. They debate checking the scene themselves, but ultimately decide against it. The group finds a locked door and considers breaking it down, weighing the risks of making noise. Eventually, they devise a plan for one character to squeeze through a small opening to unlock it from inside, showcasing their resourcefulness in a tense situation. Two characters, Matt and Emily, find themselves in a precarious situation, possibly stranded. They discover a map showing a fire tower and debate their options for escape or calling for help. Emily asserts her decision-making authority, hinting at relationship dynamics. They decide to head for the fire tower, hoping to find a radio to call for rescue. Matt and Emily continue to navigate dangerous terrain, discussing potential plans and safe locations. They consider the abandoned sanatorium as a possible refuge, weighing its pros and cons. The conversation reveals their fear of the alleged psychopath and their struggle to find a secure position in the threatening environment. The perspective shifts to Sam, who finds herself in a vulnerable situation, possibly without proper clothing. She expresses frustration at what she perceives as a prank by her friends, demanding the return of her clothes. The tone suggests growing unease, as Sam realizes the situation may be more sinister than a simple joke. A menacing voice addresses Sam, creating an atmosphere of psychological horror. The unseen speaker describes watching Sam and makes threatening implications about her future. This segment heightens the sense of vulnerability and danger, as Sam is clearly being stalked by someone with malicious intent. The mysterious figure from earlier returns, criticizing the player's choices and emphasizing the consequences of their actions. They discuss the exploration of fear and how it's been weaponized against the characters. This meta-commentary adds depth to the narrative, suggesting psychological elements beyond the immediate danger. Characters, likely Matt and Emily, cautiously approach a potential threat, trying to remain calm. They discuss plans to use a radio to call for help and debate whether to return to the lodge or stay put. The scene conveys a sense of strategic thinking amidst danger, as they try to maximize their chances of rescue and survival. A frantic radio exchange occurs as the characters attempt to contact help. They struggle to communicate clearly with a park ranger service, desperately explaining their situation and the presence of a killer. The conversation is fraught with technical difficulties and misunderstandings, adding to the tension. They're informed that rescue can't come until dawn due to the storm, leaving them in a prolonged state of danger. The situation escalates dramatically as Emily finds herself in immediate peril, possibly falling or trapped. Matt attempts to rescue her, but the unstable environment complicates his efforts. Someone pleads for Matt to take action and find a safe way to reach them. There's confusion about Emily's whereabouts, with speculation that she may have come down from above. The situation appears chaotic and dangerous, leaving the characters bewildered about the unfolding events. Chris and Ashley have a heartfelt moment following a traumatic incident in the shed involving their friend Josh. Chris is thanked for saving Ashley's life, but he's hesitant to dwell on the event. Ashley expresses gratitude and acknowledges the difficulty of the situation, given Chris and Josh's close friendship. They decide to focus on finding Sam, pushing aside their emotions to concentrate on the task at hand. Ashley claims to have seen a ghostly, transparent shape, but Chris is skeptical. The two debate the validity of Ashley's sighting, with Chris suggesting their minds might be playing tricks on them due to the stressful situation. Despite their disagreement, they agree to stay focused on finding Sam, who they fear might be in trouble. The tension builds as they navigate their surroundings, unsure of what to believe. The environment becomes increasingly eerie, with doors slamming and candles mysteriously lighting up. Ashley insists she saw a translucent white figure, while Chris remains doubtful. They discuss their concerns about Sam's safety and the possibility of a maniac being on the loose. The conversation highlights their growing fear and the strain on their mental states as they try to make sense of the supernatural occurrences. Ashley claims to have seen a ghost resembling Hannah, but Chris, distracted by his phone, misses the sighting. They argue about the existence of ghosts and debate whether the spirits from their earlier seance have followed them. Suddenly, a picture inexplicably falls off the wall, adding to the supernatural atmosphere. The incident leaves them both shaken and questioning reality. Chris finally sees something unexplainable, validating Ashley's earlier claims. They discover a miniature scene with dolls, mirroring their group's layout from the previous year when waiting for Hannah. This detailed recreation unnerves them, as it suggests someone who was present or watching them created it. They find Hannah's diary, adding to the emotional weight of the situation. The experience leaves them feeling watched and manipulated. A mysterious sound draws their attention downward. They encounter a door without a handle, heightening their frustration and sense of being trapped. The situation continues to escalate, with unexplained phenomena and obstacles impeding their progress and increasing their anxiety. Chris and Ashley continue to experience strange occurrences, including the sight of something that quickly disappears. They find a catalog for industrial light bulbs with one bulb circled, adding to the puzzle. The discovery of an unknown room extends their journey into unfamiliar territory, pushing them further into a state of unease and uncertainty. The conversation turns to the events of the previous year involving Hannah. Chris and Ashley reflect on their role in humiliating Hannah, expressing regret and trying to understand her actions. They discuss the cruelty of their prank and its possible consequences, showing remorse for their past behavior. This moment of introspection adds depth to their characters and context to the current situation. Despite their fear, Chris and Ashley decide to continue searching for Sam, believing she might be in danger. They discuss the strange setup they've encountered, theorizing that someone might be orchestrating events and observing their reactions. This realization adds a new layer of complexity to their predicament, suggesting they might be part of a larger, sinister plan. The search for Sam intensifies as they discover what might be a clue to her whereabouts. They navigate through a tight space, working together to progress. The tension builds as they believe they've spotted Sam, only to find a dummy dressed in her clothes. This disturbing discovery heightens their fear and confusion about Sam's true fate. The situation takes a drastic turn as Ashley is attacked. Chris vows vengeance against their assailant. In a moment of heightened emotion, Chris and Ashley confess their feelings for each other, adding a bittersweet element to their dire circumstances. Their tender moment is interrupted by a sinister voice, presenting them with a horrific choice that will test their commitment to each other and their will to survive. A confrontation occurs with the apparent orchestrator of their torment. The aggressor is called out for playing God with people's lives, revealing a deeper conflict at play. The scene suggests a twisted experiment or game being conducted, with the characters as unwilling participants. The narrative shifts, introducing a new element that appears to be part of an experiment or performance. The change in tone and setting indicates a possible reveal or twist in the unfolding events, hinting at a larger scheme behind the characters' ordeals. Mike encounters Sam in a dire situation, revealing his own injuries. They exchange information about the dangers they've faced, including the apparent death of Josh and the presence of a maniac on the mountain. The conversation highlights the confusion and fear pervading the group as they try to piece together the threats they're facing and the possible involvement of Josh in the events. The narrative becomes more fragmented, with rapid shifts in action and location. Characters face immediate dangers and make quick decisions to survive. The pacing suggests a climactic sequence of events unfolding, with multiple threads of the story converging. A shocking revelation occurs as Josh is confronted about orchestrating the terrifying events. He admits to creating an elaborate and expensive hoax designed to terrorize and humiliate the others as revenge for what happened to his sisters a year ago. The other characters react with disbelief and anger, struggling to process Josh's betrayal and the extent of his deception. This twist recontextualizes the previous events, revealing them as part of a meticulously planned and cruelly executed scheme. A tense confrontation unfolds as one character is accused of causing Jessica's death. The accused claims innocence and suggests the incident will go viral online, treating it as a joke. This enrages the others, who are mourning Jessica. They decide to lock up the accused until morning, when they can contact the police. The accused continues to make inappropriate jokes, further angering the group. The confrontation escalates as the group forcibly restrains the accused. Attempts at explanation are met with hostility and disbelief. The accused shifts between apology and defiance, maintaining innocence while taunting the others. The situation becomes increasingly tense as emotions run high. Physical restraint is used to control the accused, who continues to provoke the others with inappropriate comments about relationships within the group. The accused is securely restrained while continuing to taunt the others, particularly focusing on Chris and Ashley's relationship. This provokes angry responses and threats of violence. A heated exchange occurs regarding Jessica's fate, with disturbing and graphic comments made. Plans are made to leave the accused restrained until morning, while the others return to the lodge. The accused attempts to manipulate the situation by appealing to past friendships. The scene shifts abruptly, with characters in apparent danger and attempting to escape or hide from an unseen threat. There are sounds of panic and urgency as they navigate through what seems to be a perilous environment. The exact nature of the danger is not explicitly stated, but the characters' reactions suggest imminent and serious threat to their safety. A frantic sequence unfolds as characters desperately try to find safety. One character, Emily, arrives in a state of panic, claiming to have encountered a monster. The others initially disbelieve her, thinking the threat was human. Emily recounts a harrowing experience of being abandoned by Matt and falling into a mine shaft, where she made a gruesome discovery of Beth's severed head. The group struggles to process this information and determine their next steps. An unexpected visitor arrives, revealed to be an older man familiar with the mountain's history. He warns the group about a Wendigo, a mythical creature born from cannibalism. The man insists they find safety in the basement until dawn. This revelation causes discord among the group, with some wanting to rescue their friend Josh, who was left behind. Despite warnings, Chris decides to go after Josh, accompanied by the older man who possesses knowledge about combating the Wendigo. The older man provides crucial information about the Wendigo as he and Chris venture out. He explains that Wendigos are nearly invulnerable except to fire, hunt only at night, and can't see stationary objects. Their mission to find Josh takes a tragic turn when they discover they're too late. The Wendigo attacks, killing the older man. Chris barely escapes back to the lodge, where the group barricades themselves in the basement. Tensions rise as the group debates their next move. Mike decides to retrieve the cable car key from Josh, believing he may have been taken to the Wendigo's lair in the mines. Emily shares her horrifying experiences in the mines, including the discovery of historical documents revealing a cover-up of dangerous mining practices. The group uncovers more about the mountain's dark history, adding to the already tense and frightening situation they find themselves in. A tense situation unfolds as someone has been bitten, possibly by a Wendigo. There is fear and uncertainty about whether the bite will cause transformation into a Wendigo. The group debates what to do, with some insisting the bitten person must leave for everyone's safety. The situation escalates as Mike considers using a gun, creating a highly emotional and divisive moment among the survivors. The group consults some information about Wendigos, learning that they can mimic their prey. There is relief upon discovering that a Wendigo bite does not cause transformation. This new information changes the dynamic, leading to regret and apologies for the earlier panic and near-violent reaction. The emotional tension remains high as the group processes what just happened and tries to move forward. A psychological confrontation occurs, possibly in Josh's mind or with an unseen entity. Josh is accused of causing tragedy through both action and inaction, referencing events from the previous year involving his sisters. The voice taunts Josh about his loneliness and the consequences of his actions, suggesting his friends have deserted him. This segment reveals deep psychological trauma and guilt Josh is experiencing. The scene shifts to someone, likely Mike, navigating a dangerous area. He encounters a wolf-like creature he calls Wolfie and formulates a plan to escape through the psychiatric wing and reach the mines. The journey is perilous, with tense moments of hiding and fleeing from unseen threats. The environment is described as disgusting and built like a fortress, hinting at the facility's dark past. A series of intense encounters with unknown threats occurs. The protagonist, presumably Mike, is constantly on edge, moving through the facility and reacting to unseen dangers. The tension builds as he navigates this hostile environment, using stealth and quick thinking to survive. The frequent use of expletives underscores the high-stress nature of the situation. The group, including Chris, who is injured, searches for a way to reach Mike. They discover a tunnel that might lead to the sanatorium. Despite Chris's injury slowing them down, they press on, closing entrances behind them to prevent being followed. The atmosphere is tense as they navigate the unknown, hoping to reunite with Mike while staying safe from potential threats. Someone, possibly Sam, encounters Jessica and is relieved to find her alive. They face a challenging climb, with Sam deciding to continue alone to find Mike, while advising Jessica to return to the lodge. The scene emphasizes the physical challenges and the determination to reunite with other survivors despite the dangers. Mike and Sam reunite and plan to venture deeper into the Wendigo's territory. Meanwhile, Josh experiences intense psychological distress, hallucinating and arguing with voices of deceased individuals. The hallucinations torment him about past events and his perceived failures, revealing the depth of his mental anguish and guilt. Mike and Sam make a grim discovery that appears to be Hannah's grave, but it has been disturbed. They find a note suggesting Hannah survived the fall, but was forced to resort to cannibalism, possibly consuming Beth's body to survive. This revelation horrifies them, and they realize the urgency of finding Josh. The environment becomes increasingly hostile as they descend deeper. Josh's mental state deteriorates further as he struggles with hallucinations. Mike and Sam find him in a disoriented state. They formulate a plan to escape, with Sam going ahead to inform the others, while Mike guides Josh back the way they came. The group plans to reunite at the lodge. Meanwhile, Jessica is discovered alive, but in a dire state, recounting a terrifying experience that led to her current situation. The survivors attempt to regroup at the lodge, facing numerous challenges and dangers along the way. The fate of Josh remains uncertain, with implications of a tragic end. The ordeal has taken a severe physical and emotional toll on all involved, as they struggle to survive and make sense of the horrific events they've endured. A group discusses their next course of action, deciding to check the basement for any survivors. They acknowledge the dire situation and their slim chances of survival. Suddenly, there's a sense of urgency as someone urges everyone to run, creating a tense atmosphere of imminent danger. The situation escalates dramatically as someone commands absolute stillness, suggesting an immediate threat nearby. The tension is palpable, with the potential for any movement to have severe consequences. A period of ambient sounds follows, possibly indicating movement or a change in the environment. The lack of dialogue suggests a moment of cautious action or observation. There's a revelation about extensive damage to a main structure, implying a catastrophic event has occurred. This information provides context for the group's dire circumstances and the urgency of their situation. A survivor recounts a harrowing experience involving an old man initially perceived as a stalker. The narrative takes an unexpected turn as it's revealed this man saved the speaker's life before dying. There's mention of hearing Jessica in an unexpected location, adding to the mystery. The speaker also describes a close encounter with death, emphasizing the intensity of their ordeal.